get off my line. Welcome to On My Block podcast.
Get off my lawn.
I know, a Green Bay Packer podcast. I'm your host, Ahman, along with my good friend and teammate, Mike Wahle. Mike, how you doing, man?
Dude, you can tell we're ready for that segment already.
We are ready to go to get round to the nitty-gritty.
After this stuff, we're ready for that segment.
Exactly. It's been a whole lot of shenanigans going on. Before we do that, I'll get into this read for our sponsors with BetOnline. So now they switched it up, Mike. So basketball is back. And BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. You'll always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. So as your continued source for all your sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on your favorite sports and events, whether the NFL, NBA, NHL, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BLEAV, BELIEVE, to receive your rewards. So BetOnline, where the game starts, Mike. So now we got some games starting up. It didn't end well for our boys in Lambeau Field, but they played over in Detroit.
Field, man.
I watching this game, and I didn't get this. I just mostly got because I was traveling back home. I went home to Nebraska, and we got shendanged by Minnesota Gophers.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't have a good weekend.
What game did I see? I thought Indiana was playing Nebraska.
We played Minnesota.
I got it confused because I didn't care.
Yeah, it was the same color. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like, man, we got a long ways to go. Kind of like we talking about our co-workers here, the Packers, man. It's just,
how do you not muster more than 9 points against the league's worst defense in the league?
I mean, it just goes to show you that regardless if you're the last defense in the NFL, you still are the 1%ers in the NFL or in the league.
You still have
players. These players can still show up, and they're going to be obviously with Dan Campbell, the coach. He's definitely mustered up pride in playing a full effort in this Detroit Lions roster, because even though they're last in the league on defense, but fourth in the league in offense, they in every game before this game, we've seen it. They play 4 quarters. They've never been even though they've made a lot of mistakes, they'll play their hearts out. And that's kind of what we saw here, especially with a rivalry. It's easy to get up and play hard all 4 quarters, in which they did in this game. But yeah, I just saw from their standpoint, that's what I saw. They made up, they had a lot of errors, but they had more wins than losses. And they've been dealing with this losing a lot longer than we have. So they were able to, fight through some of their mistakes and then cash in and then play hard. And then Green Bay.
That's it right there. They play harder than we do.
Exactly.
We do.
That's what it was.
Hey, AJ, that sucks to say. That's the biggest insult you can give a football player is you're getting that people are outworking you. But I don't know, when you turn the tape on, I don't know how else you explain it.
That's it.
And I was just trying to think, we've gotten everyone's got their asses kicked before, and there's been games where you get people are fighting harder and you get popped in the mouth. Dude, I remember the best example is in high school basketball. There was always that team who would show up and they were doing suicides off the bus, and you're like, oh, dude, this is gonna be bad. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be a long game, right?
This is one of those games where, dude, we got some tape on this stuff. Tape can't lie, right? Eye in the sky don't lie, dude. There is just flat out guys getting beat. Now there's guys playing well, but there's just guys getting beaten. I was just thinking, when you watch a game like that and you've been in that locker room, what do you tell let's forget about the whole team. Let's talk about the guy right next to you in the locker room. What do you tell that guy? What is your conversation with him?
At halftime or at the end of the game?
I don't care. I mean, you tell me. Whenever you're ready to process what's going on.
I would say this. If it's halftime, because I've been, high school, I was in a game getting my butt kicked, and it's like, all right. I said, look, I don't know what y'all gonna do, but I know personally, I'm not gonna get my ass kicked anymore. I'm gonna say that because I love everybody in this room. So if y'all want to ride with me and let's go fight, this is a fight. This is a rival game. This is a straight street fight. So who has the pride in their heart and their body to say, you know what, regardless of how this game's in, I'm gonna play 100% effort. Try to get rid of the mistakes and play the football I know I could play, especially, and then take it personal, because this is a personal thing. It's not on that level to where you understand, okay, this is how important it is. So have that conversation with your teammate. That's what I would say. Halftime, and then at the end of the game, it's like, all right, we lost. Now it's just look towards next week. That's all we can do. This game is over. We'll watch the film tomorrow.
And you got to learn from the mistakes, right?
And learn from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Game over. Let's move on. Get ready for Dallas.
Time? Okay, let's talk about this then. Because, listen, the defense, they give up 21 a game. It's average. They gave up 15 and we lost. They gave up 15 in Ford Field and we lost. And they shouldn't even give up 15. You watch the film, they shouldn't give up 15.
No.
But 15, if you only give up 15, you should win the game.
100%.
We knew, you talk about our offensive skill guys. You go into this game, their secondary is a disaster. It's been we
watched it last week. Yeah,
we watched it. We showed tape last week. It's a disaster. We got guys running the wrong routes. We got guys running routes incorrectly. We can't beat press coverage. We can't beat man. Aaron Rodgers drops back. He gets on his fifth step. Dude, there's nobody open. No. I mean, the Lions had one sack yesterday that whatever. But they're not really pressuring them the whole game. Our offensive line, from a pass protection standpoint, did just fine.
Right.
But the guys are not open. I mean, and I understand there's people hurt. Like we'll go through it.
Yeah.
But Lazard's got, what has he got? 4 for 87. He's got the touchdown. Dobbs goes down. Aaron Jones goes down. Bakhtiari goes down. Stokes goes down. Rashawn Gary probably tore his ACL on the turf, which is a whole other discussion.
They already clarified that. Yes, he did.
Is it for sure?
It's for sure. Yeah.
But you just there's part of me that goes, all right, listen, man, we got a lot of people injured, and all, but there's part of me.
Well, they're doing MRI today. They're doing MRI today, so they'll confirm here in probably about 2:00 our time, sometime like that.
There's part of me that goes, okay, that's 5 starters right there that you're going out during the game. But at the same time, I'm going, hey, I don't care. Like, you got guys that can win against these people, and we are not winning. And that's the bottom line. There's no other way to paint the picture. We can talk about Aaron Rodgers' bad day. Right, he's got probably the worst game of his career, right? Given it's the worst defense in the league. 23 for 43, 291, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Is that the worst game you've ever seen him play?
I would say, I was thinking back. So when I heard this going, see people saying that today and yesterday, I went back to 2008, and I was like, that was his first year as a starter. So I was like, I didn't get a chance to look at it. I'm gonna look at it now, Google it and check it out. But I would say maybe go back to 2008. You maybe find a worse game that year. Because
he wasn't a 4-time MVP by then.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Contextually, this has got to be. It was bad. And
since he's been up to where we've now seen his potential since probably since then, since the 4 MVP, Super Bowl champ, stuff like that.
And even having said that, some of the plays that he is required to make, given what he's working with, almost still seems unfair. I mean, because some of the stuff that's going on tape is really that bad. But
I've been saying it from the beginning of the season with the wide receivers getting open. That's like they can't get off man press. I was seeing that in game 1, and then it's still a problem. And it's like eventually, as a wide receiver / running back, whoever you are running routes, you say to yourself, I got to get open for my quarterback. And then I got to catch the ball when it's thrown my way. Those are the 2 things I said in my head every time I went out for a route. Get open, catch the ball.
That's it.
Tuck it high and tight, and then get upfield, get what I can. And that's it. If I, not trying to make a big play, just get what I can after I catch the ball. The first thing is just catch the ball, and then get open and then catch the ball. So you got to have that mindset.
I don't know if we don't know if it's too much for some of the young guys. We just don't know because we're not there. We're not in the room. But God, there's a lot. It just doesn't look good. And then defensively, you think about. We'll show these on tape right now. There's some miscommunications, but God, again, 15 points. They're playing well. Goff did make plays though. Their offensive line did move bodies when they had to. Like they only averaged 3.8 yards per carry. You keep a team under 4, you feel pretty good about yourself on defense, right? Especially like in today's NFL, you got to feel pretty good about yourself. But they did make plays when they had to. It's just. They've got weapon. That Swift guy he can scoot. We'll show that.
And he played beat up. He had a busted shoulder. He had an ankle.
Everybody's hurt now, right?
Everybody's hurt. It's mid-season. I remember every season from the time I became a Packer, when it got to mid-season, I had ankle, I had shoulder, and hands and fingers swelled up. And it was like, you know what? It is what it is. And I know y'all. I know between you and Marco and Flanny, I would see y'all every day doing stuff. But it was
we're pickup trucks. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't matter if you're a pickup truck. You guys are Ferraris.
Oh yeah, but we're built the same though. All of us were built the same mentally. So that was like, this is part of the game, And that's how Swift played. He played out there like it was nothing wrong. He played hard.
So Jair Alexander has the pick, right? Literally the next play, Rodgers turns around and throws that pick when he just, he gets off his spot a little bit because he get pressure up the middle, but no excuse, right? He throws the ball behind Tunyon, guy undercuts and makes a play.
Great play there.
And yeah, it was an unbelievable catch.
Yeah.
But it's like, it seems like this is a recurring theme. You get a break and you don't capitalize on it. And certainly we're not going to sit here and say that Rodgers is missing the killer instinct. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? But what is it about this team that you think that, why are we having such a hard time capitalizing? Like, it's like this is why we can't have nice things, guys. Ahman, this is why we can't have nice things.
Right. It's just one of these seasons. That's what you could say. You could pull up and say one of these seasons where you got your recipe, where the recipe leads to this. It starts off with you got young guys that didn't go a whole lot of time in preseason with the starting quarterback, and I mean the receivers. So you start with that. And then for the whole, up until this game, maybe 2 weeks ago, everybody was putting the whole blame, we don't have Devontae, and we don't know how much the players are listening to this and how much they are not listening to this.
We know they're listening to it.
Exactly.
You and I know that they're hearing it.
Correct.
Like, a lot of people say, like, I don't get on social. Okay.
Yeah.
Every one of you knows what's going on.
So layer that on top of, man, I got to play my game. Where there's like, am I in the playbook? Am I watching film? Am I making corrections? Because a lot of the MAs that we see has been going on since the first game and go back to preseason. So it's nothing new there. And then obviously but then you layer in stuff that happened during the regular football season. You got injuries. You got teams coming in that then are not the team that you prepared for, or they are the team you prepared for, which in this case it was the Detroit Lions was the Detroit Lions. If the Packers score their average points, they win. They score 24 points.
And we're down on the 1 yard line twice. I mean,
right. So they just played above their par, and it's a rivalry game, and all that counts double at the end, as we know. So we knew that if this game was tight, the effort on Detroit side would probably get them the victory, and that's what happened.
Which sucks to say, but you're absolutely right. So up front, trench warfare stuff. Like, I have to say that I don't know what's going on, because Bakhtiari is healthy. I know that he ended up getting a little bit hurt with that knee, I'm assuming, but then he came in for the last series. Like, the whole thing's really confusing, to be honest with you. But then JRJ is rotating with Zach Tom now for some of the series, and it's like, you aren't at a point now. If the model has been inconsistent play for the entire season. And I'm not saying that JRJ is the best lineman of all time, and I'm not saying that Zach Tom doesn't deserve a shot. I'm not saying that. But what I am going to say is, at some stage, the inner three guys have not been playing very well. Because of Elton Jenkins hasn't been in, now he's in. All these things. Right. Myers hasn't played. He's taking a step back, maybe. But if you continue to rotate players, you're just not going to get the result you want. And I guess. Like, it almost seems to me sometimes they're like, are we looking for next year? Because if that's the case, then put Zach. Okay, your worst run blocker is Josh Nijman. Everybody, it's been the same situation the whole time. Now, he can pass block pretty well, so maybe that's why they keep him in. I mean, instead of Zach, I'm not advocating that we move Josh. It doesn't make sense to rotate right now, given the situation.
Yes. That sounds to me, when you start rotating. And kind of like what you said, are you looking to next year gaining experience to certain players? Because that's not a good thing to rotate. Because when I hear rotate, you're not letting a player get in his groove, blocking, doing whatever their job is. Because
you're affecting Myers too. Like, remember, he's not playing well. I mean, he's not playing at the level that we thought he would.
Correct.
He could play better. I don't want to say he's playing poorly, but he could play better. He could play more decisive. You can see in his footwork and his body language. But it's hard to do that when you got guys that are new next to him.
You got two new guys every series. Yeah, that's not something that a player, like for me, that would make me just fill off. Because I'm like, okay, now we got these guys in. Okay, now what are we doing?
Let me ask you this: did Will Henderson and Nick Lucci block differently? Like, did they block differently for you? Was Lucci different than Will?
Yeah, they're definitely they were different. So I knew with Will, he was more of the space eater, and he could actually because he was big. He was a solid guy. Lucci was a little bit. He was still the same size, but he was built differently. He was a little, like I say, he was a little softer. He wasn't as, I say, muscular as Will. So he went into it. And when I knew he would go into a block, he would probably must leave his feet like a cut block. So that means I had to be behind him a few yards so I didn't get tangled up on his feet. Will would keep his feet and then drive a guy out. So then I could get on his feet and make a move and get out the hole.
Yeah. So you know that. And as a veteran player, you have the confidence and the you're working off your parasympathetic nervous system, so you're not freaking out all the time. So right. you can approach this and say, okay, Will's in the game. This is how he's going to have this block. Lucci's in the game. This is maybe how he's going to do. He's going to block this.
Exactly.
As a young player, it's not just who you're rotating; it's all the people around them, and that's kind of the point I wanted to make. Should we just get on this tape, man? Because
yeah,
I think it's the best thing to do.
It is.
So AG. I put together some stuff here. So first things first, I wanted to kind of show the first drive or the first maybe 3-4 plays just as a proxy of what's going on with the Packers right now. So you see this. We knew that they were going to play run defense first. They bring that safety up. Now this is a look that we've seen on tape from other opponents of the Detroit Lions. Bringing the wide receiver in so we can block off that B gap because they're just playing gap defense here. And we use this to run a play action early in the game. First play, under center, play action pass. Love it. He's got plenty of time. Throws a dart, first down, like his big play on interior goal line. Like those are the things that make a huge difference, right?
Yep.
We go second play again, under center, play action pass, keep pass. Now watch this, up top.
Yep.
Watkins. Now he's rolling to his right.
He's going. Yeah.
He's going the wrong direction. And listen. For everybody
I wonder
on TV,
that has to be an MA. I hope it's an MA.
If you're looking at the screen right now, he should be running across the lion's tail. That's where he should be.
Yep, he'd be wide open,
not. And that's why Aaron Rodgers has to try to dump the ball off.
I wouldn't say he'd be wide open, but he would be open. He would be open.
AG, that's the second play of the game. That means they scripted that play.
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
They went over it the night before, and obviously previous days before.
If you have a question,
Saturday night.
If you have a question, right? You ask the question. You make sure that you know the script.
Exactly.
The first 15. This is what, for a veteran guy, that's tough, man. That's a tough ask. So this is kind of, again, this is an RPO, and this is indicative of what we're dealing with right now. So Aaron Rodgers is going to read, I forgot his name. Is that Carpenter? But
maybe.
They're going to read that linebacker. If the linebacker goes with Jones here, regardless if we have a good play on the right, he's going to throw this to Lazard, but we're just not making these plays. And that's the hard thing. Yeah.
He had blanket covers, but he got to catch that. You got to make a good effort.
Okay. So Aaron Rodgers hit his fifth step here.
Yep.
Nothing.
And nothing. He has a safety over top.
Yeah.
On the first receiver.
So people are complaining, and then Aaron does what Aaron does, right? He can still move. I think he led the team in rushing yesterday.
Yeah.
I
believe so.
All right, so we've been running this pony package.
It's Van Winkle, I think. No, that's in Miami. That's the Miami guy.
We've been running this pony package with AJ and Aaron, okay? And one reason that they love running it is because when one of them motions out, it usually draws somebody outside of the box. And more often than not, they'll either – let me just back it up. They'll either pull – the front side guy or the back side guy. They either follow Aaron. Okay, here we go. They either follow him, we either follow Aaron, or they play side. These guys don't do that. They drop the end on the back side. So now we can't account because our receiver can't dig out the safety in the box. We can't account for him.
He's already in there. He's
already in the box.
Yeah.
Right. And the reason I brought this play up is because this is the third or fourth play of the game. And then we do it again. And then we do
that was
again.
Good job. That's a good job by Detroit. Seeing that on film and saying, hey, this young receiver doesn't realize where the depth is on this or an RDB. If you get there at this depth, you could get in there and be a part of this play, basically. So that's a good job by them.
They can't dig out, right? So That's first quarter. This is fourth quarter. Same play, okay? Now they got 8 in the box. They just brought a DB in. Same look. They just drag him out. Now you look on the right side of the screen, you see Lazard trying to get in on 5.
Yeah.
Right? Can't do it.
Nope.
Right? It's like So in other words, we don't make the adjustment.
Right, and he gets destroyed right there.
Okay,
Amari.
Yeah. So this, I know you saw this, right?
Yeah.
Like this to me is,
and he messed up a screenplay too, where he didn't even block the guy, and it was like second or third quarter. I saw too.
This is early in the game. Like this is the way that when you talk about the Lions are out toughing us.
And technique wise, like his hands, go back real if you can.
Yep.
Where his hands is already right. Here, go back. You're almost there. Right. It's on Amari. So you see where his hands are? It's trouble. Because they were at his hips, not up here.
He's first to punch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The DB brought it to him on that play. That's what I would tell him in film today. I said, where your hands was at, you were asking to get punched in the face. And that's what he did.
He's not first. We just talked about that. You got to be first to punch, right?
All the time.
You got to be first. You got to be ready. You got to be first. But you know the snap count. You know you can't get caught off guard in a situation like that.
Mm-mm.
We look up top.
Yeah, that's Lazard.
I love these plays. So
that's Tyler. That's Tyler. Excuse me.
I think it's Tyler Davis. So we love these plays, right? And I'm not trying to. We don't put all bad stuff on here. We talked about this last week. When you get motion coming in, it does a couple things. Obviously, it builds momentum for that blocker, that tight end blocker. But it also, he's not in the line of vision for this defensive end.
Nope.
So now we get a real true crack. Pull EJ and Myers around, and I wanted to show end zone copy because watch Jenkins here. I mean, this is why you love the guy and you want him in the game, as often as possible. He gets around here and just buries this dude. Obviously, hard run by AJ, by Aaron Jones. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Now Zach Tom.
Good block by Elgin. Was that Elgin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is Zach right here. So Zach right guard, and the see where he can roll those hips. I mean. This is a big deal, not because the guy he's playing against is a great player, but to be truthful, the defensive front for the Detroit Lions did give us trouble, and Zach Tom does a great job of kind of rooting this guy out of here. And again, this is why people get excited about him because he can roll his hips in a way that not a lot of athletes can. He does a really good job right here moving this guy out the way. You see a good block on the backside between Jenkins and Bakhtiari, pushing that 3 technique down. We get the cutback. Like, we're not killing the game here by any means, but again, you want to highlight some of the good.
Yeah, that's a good run. Good blocking right there too.
So structurally, AG, we're on the goal line here, and this turns into a series of disasters for the Packers, unfortunately, early in the game. But if you're running a dive play and you see that they've got their goal line D in, what we're going to do is we're going to have Bakhtiari block all the way out on the stand-up linebacker, Jenkins all the way out on the 4 technique, and then we're going to have Myers block out on the 2Y, okay? And then we're going to push on the backside. So we've done 2 things. One, we're accounting for the outside linebacker on a dive play, which makes no sense. He can't make the play here, okay? And we're not accounting for the middle linebacker.
No.
And I don't again, this is some of the stuff, and I don't know if this is a miscommunication or schematic issue, but if you watch this play, this don't make any sense. And Myers gets beat, but really there's nobody to block the linebacker the way they're blocking this. They just don't have a body.
So he gets to build up his momentum because he has nobody reaching to him.
Yeah.
So he gets to come downhill untouched.
That's just not
and get in a better position to tackle a 249-pound running back. And he has momentum.
Tell me, would you rather have the guy coming right at you, or would you rather try to run through the arm tackle and the guy on the side, the outside linebacker on the side?
Arm tackle all day.
All day, right?
All day.
This is the stuff where you just this is a head scratcher, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's a couple of these here. I got a couple of these in the run game.
Again, you got a 250 running back. You want to give him the best position to win, especially in that short yardage goal line situation. And in a shotgun, that's not his best way to build momentum to get the ball downhill. Put him in I formation like they are now. Maybe a fullback, maybe not, but at least I formation where he could come downhill with 250. And that's a different situation, even if everybody's blocked off and he goes one-on-one with the linebacker. If his shoulders are square, he's gonna win and fall forward on that. Just with weight alone. So
well said.
Yep.
You see the interior 3 here. And I just love, again, let's praise them when they do well, right?
Yep.
We got great double teams.
All over my head up. Got under the pads, everything.
JRJ gets, he's got the hard job with the single block. You got Mercedes coming down. Like this is a 7-yard run. DeGuara's coming through hard. Like those are the plays where you see him and you go, okay, that's the play speed that is required to be successful against a team that plays hard.
Exactly.
Right? That's the play speed. Now you watch this and you just go a little bit of confusion here. I think the step inside, and this is the problem, right? And you go back if you're as an offensive lineman or so clearly as a running back, you'd be pissed off. But you got a guy here. This is like a slip call between the tight end and the right tackle, and then we got a double here, another slip between the right guard and the center. If there's no call here, the tackle can't just run by this guy and keep rising, Right. And it's just like it's little plays like this why you go from averaging 6 yards a carry back down to 4. This is the Amari thing you talked about.
Exactly. This is the one I saw. I was like, come on. I say,
AG,
move your feet.
Explain to him leverage, landmark.
So I believe he has the black 39, this outside guy.
Yep. So
that means take one step forward and then square your feet off, where you got a square wide base, because then either way he decides to go, just run him that way. So he's going to pick a way. He's going to say either he's going to attack my right shoulder or he's going to attack my left shoulder. If you're square, you could then boom, adjust, grab him, and then take him where he wants to go. Take him all the way left, take him all the way inside to the right, either way. But don't be high like he is right now. And again, hands are on his waist. Hands need to be up, ready for contact to get that guy ready to go where he wants to go, basically.
And you want to take him, and you're saying take him nose to nose because he goes to his outside shoulder, and so the guy goes inside, and you're like,
right.
In retrospect, you go, oh.
That's why you sit square, though. That's why you sit square, because then either way he picks, he loses, because you could just run him. You want him to go outside because it's a screen, but you don't want him to do this. That's the one thing you don't want to do.
Right. Clear point to the running back, right?
Yeah, clear point, because this is sitting in the, say if this was in the backfield and this was a running back, you don't want to get beat on the inside. So you want your inside leg to be the leverage leg where you make him go outside of you, because that's the block. Even if you miss contact, at least you block him, because he has to avoid you. So you actually are blocking without blocking when you make a guy go around you. But if you could get your hands on him, then you complete the block and get him and push him, drive him out of the picture.
So Zach Tom has to go over and play left tackle. And so one of the problems, you're playing a young guy, you're moving around now. He's rotating to right guard. He's playing left. Okay. Yeah. So now him and Tunyon have to block. They basically have a backside C block, which just means that this backside defensive end's in the C gap between the tackle and the tight end. And they got to work up to the linebacker. And this is just a function. This is why rotating people, and I know Bakhtiari gets hurt, and it's just unfortunate, but this is what happens, right? You just have these kind of plays where Zach Tom just gets pushed all the way down because he doesn't put a second step in the ground to go vertical. You're putting Tunyon in an impossible situation, and they come down, crash this, and just make a play on, again, we're getting into the third, fourth quarter with all these plays matter.
Mm-hmm. And with the effort that's already there, Detroit is going to ham this. They're going to ham it up. They're going to take it.
I just want to highlight, again, let's talk about good when they do good. JRJ here. This got hammed up. So JRJ here. Great job on that three technique.
Wow, nice.
Turning and wheeling.
Was able to turn his hips around, get in the right position.
So this was a great play by Aaron Rodgers. I just wanted to highlight this because we went trips. I know that the clip got a little split up. But if you look at the middle of your trips right here, you got DeGuara. Now, DeGuara started on the inside of the 20. Now he's on the outside of the 30. So he got rerouted outside against cover 2. Okay, so the hole in cover 2 is between the 30 and the 35-yard line near the sideline, right? Because you're going between that flat defender and then the safety. And initially, he's not open. Right? No. He's cut this too short.
He could have took it 2 more steps, and then that would have helped him a little bit.
So again, this is what I'm talking about when you're running the route incorrectly. Okay, so now Rodgers doesn't have anybody, so Rodgers has to make something happen. He ends up making it happen because he's Aaron Rodgers, but you're making it too difficult.
No, take 2 more steps. Let the route breathe, and he'll be just sitting in that zone pocket right there in the turkey shoot, as they call it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a pass protection thing, and then again, when people are watching this and you're kind of trying to ingest, why does everything happen? Why are there issues? when you have a 2 wide to your side and slide protection, which means the center sliding to the left. So, you're responsible for basically the defensive tackle, the defensive end, and then the guy outside the defensive end in the slot. When the left guard doesn't put his hand on or approach anything to help this defensive tackle, you're putting the center in a really, really bad position because he's not a dancing bear as much as everybody else. He's not used to playing in space. So Jenkins is going out to help Zach Tom because he's going to get that bull rush from rookie Aiden Hutchinson. But you can still slam down and stop the momentum of the defensive tackle because if you don't, sometimes this stuff happens and now he gets pressured early. And this is what I would call in tennis an unforced error. Like you don't need this to happen.
No, you got to put a strong arm out there, not just one out there, for feel or for look. You got to actually feel that guy where you move him and redirect him back on top of the center.
And now I think this is the last one in pass pro. We got an under center play action pass, and we have the left guard and the left tackle running out to the defensive end when you have the fullback and the halfback running through the B gap. So my point again is the center is the most vulnerable player because he has to snap the ball. He has a guy on his edge. And we decide to run out away from him. And I'm saying this is a scheme thing. This isn't the player's decision. But now you're listen. Yeah. Josh Myers has to get better with his hands and his footwork. Like he's losing with his left hand. That's why he's losing this battle. But you're creating the conditions for failure when you make it more difficult on the quarterback or the center than you need to, and then the quarterback scrambling around, and it's again unnecessary. Unnecessary stuff.
Yeah. When it's a play action, so they're looking at the play action. They're already worried by their reaction. While like you said, the guard and tackle shooting out there. They already know they've been getting a lot of pressure the whole game and several games. So that's where that panic kind of sets in, and that's what happened on that last play there.
At some point, I mean, even Aaron Rodgers, the great Aaron Rodgers, is going to start looking at the rush, right?
100%.
At least start noticing it more. And it seems like that's happened the last couple of games. And when you see plays like that, I just it's football isn't rocket science. We try to make it sound like it's really difficult. It's really not. It's really not. If you got two guys going through the B gap, you don't really need to protect the tackle with your guard. It's not rocket science.
It's not hard. Yeah.
So AG, the Packers held the Detroit Lions, who have averaged like over 30 points at home, to 15 points. So let's just give credit where credit's due. This isn't going to be one of those things, but give credit to credit was due with the OC for Ben Johnson of the Detroit Lions. Like, you want to stay in base personnel versus 12 personnel? Okay, we're going to go empty, and we're going to put Preston Smith on your small slot receiver. Like,
oh yeah, they got him.
Yeah, this is good stuff from Detroit. I mean, you just got to tip your hat sometimes.
Yeah,
this is what you love about it.
Personnel matchup. That's what they call it. Personnel matchup.
Great job by Gary, by Sam McDuffie, who's got his own highlight reel in this clip because I love the way he plays. Dean Lowry here, all taking their gaps, pressing space, and filling hole, man. Like that's big time ball. That's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Take control of your gap. Now we talked about DeAndre Swift. AG, this is your okay. Quay Walker's on DeAndre Swift man coverage right here.
Okay.
All right. You tell me what you're thinking when you see that. Okay, that linebacker. Oh, he went the wrong direction. I'm about to get this.
Yeah. He attacked me too quick. Like he tried to come at my inside instead of my outside, and I'll just give him like he did. He just accelerated. That's all you really have to do on. That's all DeAndre did on that. He's accelerated. Me maybe accelerate, or maybe I drop my shoulder on him because I'm at an advantage.
Yeah,
I even cut back and then get north again. Make a quick cut inside and get north again.
He's got some.
He got to learn.
He's got some explosiveness to him. I mean, Quay's.
Oh, you mean DeAndre? Yeah. Quay got to learn. DeAndre Swift he has a lot of explosiveness in space, and you have that area. Mm-hmm. You got to get to him quick and then break down, come to balance. That's the biggest thing dealing with a running back like that.
I wanted to show this fourth down play it wasn't converted, but you see like there's a communication issue and it applies because it actually happens later in the game when they
do does with Savage. Yeah, with Savage.
Okay, so we look at this. So right now they're going to come over. Savage is going to be in man coverage. So you got a bunch look down here, and they go man, and they have a hard time communicating this. So we walk up, and this is like cup, or there's a bunch of different terms for this, but basically, they're going to take whoever empties into their space, and they're going to just play match.
Yeah.
And if you watch here, we got two guys going out, Alexander misses the read. One of these two guys is wrong, right?
Yes.
And the way Alexander's playing this,
he was going to take the outside guy.
He was going to take the outside guy
because his footwork, his first step was outside instead of coming down to 85.
Right, which is interesting because this guy's wide open. Like we got really, really lucky here.
Super lucky. I'm like, I thought this was the touchdown at first.
Yeah, this is one of those plays where that's a miscommunication error. Wanted to show Amos coming through. I love the fact that they brought some. They're bringing DB pressure off the slot now, try to stop this run game. Right, it's something that didn't happen for the first 5 games of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons they had to do it, right, is because the Lions. You see this, like they committed an extra lineman to the offense at times. They're bringing in another guy.
Yeah.
So they're bringing in their 6 offensive linemen.
That's our U71 right there.
Yeah, well, it's something that we've talked about this season that might be good for the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
You see it here, and the benefit of it is 70's got a much better chance of canceling out Rashawn Gary here than a tight end does. And it allows Penei Sewell to double team with their right guard, and all of a sudden they're able to get some good movement.
Yeah.
If you'll get up on that safety, look at the right guard does the Dean Lowry.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good stuff here.
5-yard gain.
We love Chris Barnes, Isaiah McDuffie. I thought they were great in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
And look, everyone's got physical limitations. We talked about physical athletes versus football players, and Quay has come along. And I'm not saying for a second that they were, made a mistake.
It's a learning. It's all a learning experience.
You got to learn. You got to make that decision. Like his physical characteristics are worth it. But man, just look at the way this guy, sheds the block, makes the tackle. I mean, you just got to appreciate. We haven't seen that this year from either guy. Here's another play from him, just getting downhill, getting to the hole, running around that black, getting to a hole. I mean,
and what I like about him is he keeps his pad level square, and he keeps his pad level low, and he's using his hands. He's not letting people get on him, and he doesn't let his body get to the blocker. So he keeps off of them so he can make those square off tackles and then drive his legs through the tackle.
All right,
that's what he's doing.
This is you, Jamal Williams, ex Green Bay Packer, on McDuffie. Check out this. That's contact. That's good contact right there.
That's very good contact. You brought it to him.
Now,
that's what I like right there.
This offensive line for the
Lions,
they're good, and we don't see this. This is Kenny Clark. This is Jaron Reed. Like we don't see this very often. These guys are turned the wrong direction.
Yeah.
In these plays. This is, later in the game.
Yeah.
And you're
tired. Yeah.
And this is what happens when you're not scoring points and you're not putting pressure on that offense to drop back and put, Goff in disadvantageous positions. We get I think we had the one sack that they called back, and that's it. And it's because we kept the game so close.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got a miscommunication here on the touchdown. Savage calls it off, goes underneath the route. They're in man coverage here. Okay?
Yeah,
they're in man. You see Savage pointing off and say, hey, switch off. But that's not somebody. I mean, look, somebody's making a huge mistake. You see Savage. If Savage stays on the other guy, he's still wide open because he tried to undercut under the slot receiver. Tight end's wide open in the end zone anyways. But they have a miscommunication here. And it's just easy. It's literally nobody covering him. And again, it's just miscommunication. It's not skill. It's not anything else.
No, it's not talking right, communicating right.
AG, tell me what was wrong with that play. You want me to see it again?
Yeah, the formation.
No, this play right here. Watch
this. This one. Yeah.
This is the sack by Enigbari. Tell me what's wrong with this. Perfect. Stiff arm, chop the arm down.
Well, he's on there on the island for one. They're talking about the tackle for Detroit.
No, they called roughing the passer for hitting him in the helmet.
Oh, go back. Hold up.
That's what Roger Goodell wants the NFL to be right now.
Hold on. They call this roughing the passer. I thought you was looking at.
Yep, he touched his helmet.
Oh wow, that's like bang bang. That's so fast. Like you can't even.
He
was already going down. He was already going down.
He touched his helmet, and they called.
He reached for him just to touch him, like just to say you're.
Otherwise,
down,
he doesn't get credit for the sack.
Exactly. That's been happening forever. So he doesn't get touched. Jeff or Goff could get back up.
Yep. Isn't that amazing?
Oh man, yeah, that one right there. That would drive me nuts.
So they motion down to like a trips bunch release.
Yep.
Okay. And you just look at leverage right now. This is actually a great design, a play design for the Detroit Lions. So we've got outside leverage by our corner and our nickel.
Yeah.
And so they're just going to run they're going to run trail crossers. Okay.
Yeah.
They just got a guy coming underneath. And you can't throw this play without a big time arm at quarterback. And Goff, we've second pick in the draft for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
This is a tight window because they don't have anybody over here holding Quay Walker to come over to pass the hash mark. This is a tight window. This is a big time throw, but this is also a big time design by these guys and the ability to diagnose, like, we play heavy outside leverage here. We're not even going to try to mess with that side of the field. We're just going to bring these guys down, run a trail, and all you got to do is hit that second window.
Mm-hmm.
That's big time play. And these things, like, this
and
happens
as a lot of film. I watch on film.
And that's what happens in the context of games, right, AG? Like, sometimes we think as players that we should be able to diagnose and see every play, especially like when we watch it here, it's like so obvious. But when you're in that moment, like, you have to process all this information. Like, that's why there's big plays in the National Football League, even though you've probably seen that play on tape like 20 times. Because like, still, it's like to be able to recall it and know exactly where to be. And then the other guys getting paid a lot of money to do a good job as well, right?
Yeah, because when you see it repped over repped, from mental reps in film, watching it on your own, and then the physical walkthrough reps to the live action reps, then when the play comes out right, because you didn't react, you reacted, you didn't think about it because you've been seeing it, you thought about it all week long. So that's where the rehearsal, all the reps you're talking about, you get that, then you can react better to plays. So
this is the touchdown, the second touchdown. So we got another bunch look, and now they have a safety in, right? So this is again kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
So we look at the release. Same situation down here in that now they're playing zone. Quay Walker's just going to match the guy that comes inside, right? Yep. So first guy goes upfield. Alexander's needs to be upfield. Quay's going to take the underneath route.
He's getting 32.
Right? And Savage, they're an empty set. So we got 3 over here, 2 on the other side. They're going man-to-man over here. Savage is going to lean towards the 3 receiver side, and they're going to put those guys match up man-to-man over there and hope for the best. Now, again, you just don't quite know what's going on here. But I guess because we're looking at eyes, especially particularly we're talking about Savage right now, looking at Goff's eyes, he just loses the receiver.
Yeah, because he's totally looking and not seeing the guy crossing his face. He feels him because they bump into him. He bumps into Savage before he catches the ball. But by that time, his momentum is going opposite of the receiver. So, when I saw that play, I'm like, okay, his eyes is on the quarterback and not knowing that here comes a crosser, and then he gets beat off the eye movement from Goff. So good job by Goff there.
Yeah, so, it's a miscommunication, or it's an error. It's not necessarily an unforced error. It's something that you would expect him to make do with, because Alexander is going to be in that throwing window. Like, if he's in his right spot and throwing, if he's not trying to undercut that and get a pick, he's just playing like hard zone defense right there. Then Savage just doesn't necessarily feel like he's got to run all the way over. Maybe he has more space. You don't know, but the guy's got to make plays too, right?
Yep.
The other team's got to make plays. You want to hit some of these mailbag questions?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, man. So
from what the fans are asking.
This is the question that, last night you started about talking about. We're getting out physical.
It's true.
Who are the tough guys on this offense? Now, defense, I think we can agree that, I don't know if Kenny Clark's been playing at that same level as it was the first couple games.
Right.
But you see some guys on defense. Like, I think Adrian Amos is a tough guy. I think with Sean Gary, unfortunately he's hurt. Preston Smith, I think those guys play hard. I think our front 4 are tough guys.
Right.
Who's our tough? I'm not saying that we don't have any, let's take Aaron Jones off the table, because I think he's the most obvious one. Who are the tough guys on offense?
I would just say I know a few of the O linemen. I would say
by tough guys, we mean guys that when it starts going bad, they get better, right? You get punched in the mouth, I punch back. I step into it. I don't lean back. I would say AJ. He's one of those guys. He's played hard in tough games this season.
where they've had him. A few I've seen Mercedes, and I would say Mercedes.
Alan Lazard is my.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking Alan Lazard.
I just don't know that he's a number one wide receiver.
Yeah,
just because his inability to get separation. I mean,
because it's just his size. I think because his size does matter. Being a 225 wide receiver, you're obviously, if he does have that, he does have a fast twitch, but it's not the elite fast twitch to have that breakaway, pull away speed. But I truly see him as a number 2. But he's doing his best right now.
Not his fault.
No, it is. It's just, it's genetics. It's the way the team's going. You got people hurt now. Dobbs is gone now, so it's going to be a little bit more pressure on him to continue to make plays. He's beat up. It looked like he has a shoulder harness on, so you got to play through it. Be a football player right now.
And he did yesterday. Like, there's no complaints, right? It's just it's like it's okay to be limited, and I think that's when you start. But if you have too many guys that are limited in too many positions,
then it's a problem.
Then you start looking at it, and this goes into the next question. That goes into like personnel. Do we have the right people? So what changes would you make? This question, these are all Twitter questions from the mailbag. Appreciate everybody who asked them. What changes would you make to salvage the team, either depth chart or scheme?
Good question. I say scheme wise, I say probably more scheme because I got to roll with the players that are in there, and we know who they are, offensively and defensively. It would be what I mentioned weeks ago. And they've done it a few times where they commit to the run and they have an I formation run sets and then play action off that offensively to get some semblance of an offense going, to where then you can start working on consistency, because then consistently we'll be picking up 3 to 5 yards of carry and then play action off that, where we'll see hopefully some big plays, maybe some medium completions to short yardage completions, and now all that tallies up at the end. I mean, I say that because when you look at somebody like Tom Brady when he was with the Patriots, he will nickel and dime people, between Bill Belichick and McDaniels calling plays. They were okay with 3-yard gains, 2-yard gains, 5-yard gains. And
they invented the wide receiver screen, right?
Exactly.
The bubble screen. Right?
Exactly. Eventually, that 3 to 5 yards will accumulate between defenses being tired and wore out. And then, boom, here comes the big play, because now everybody's a little bit exhausted and they want something to happen. They try the defense. You know how defensive players think. We want to be 3 and out. We don't want to be out here all for 5-10 minutes. We want to get 3 plays and put y'all offense back on the shelf. But that doesn't happen when you have a well-planned offensive scheme, and it's simple. It doesn't have to be really complicated in terms of the formations, in terms of what you do. You bring in the complication later once you have the defense in your pocket. That means you are controlling you dictating what they're calling to try to stop you.
I would put Rudy Ford in the game because he's a better tackler at the safety position. I just do it. I don't have any regrets about it. I would seriously consider telling Bakhtiari to shut it down for the year, and for no other reason than when you have to rotate guys. I think it just is. I mean, he's such a net positive, so I hate saying that, but it's like it would be better for Zach Tom. It would be better for the team if Zach Tom gets all the reps versus like come in third quarter because he can't go.
Right.
Or maybe there's enough reps in practice that it doesn't matter, because that's a tough thing for me to say, because Bakhtiari's, him being in there is better than him not being in there if he's at all healthy. But it just feels like or maybe at the very least we stop rotating at the interior and just leave it what it is right now and just try to like get the most out of this year and this group.
Those reps. Yeah.
Schematically, I'm with you, but it's because Aaron Rodgers is adamant that he wants to go. He wants to reduce motion and go shotgun. Then I'm like, okay, let's run the play action. Like we're going full zone, or we're going like gap scheme like real play action stuff. You can still turn, you can go behind, you can go underneath, but you got people moving. You have bodies moving, whether it's through tackle, guard pulling, whether it's through everybody's going to the right. We have the backside tight end coming over to block on the edge. But we're doing something that is actually recreating a true play action pass so that you can build your offense off of that. So you have your favorite runs and you build your plays off of that, and they mirror one another, which we're saying the same thing. I'm just trying to suggest that if we do want to go through shotgun, because that's what your quarterback wants to do, then you have to move bodies up front and make it still sell the run, which is, I don't think something we do quite enough, me personally.
Correct.
This is, I don't know if either of us can answer this, but like you just saw those communication errors in the secondary. Like, I don't understand why they can't communicate at a higher level. And in particular, the one where they switch man coverage on the motion across, and so the tight end's wide open on the backside fake. You just go, like, AG, for me, I just go, like, how is that even possible that they make that big of a mistake?
No, I don't know. I mean, so I said the best thing you do, I mean, it's not the best thing. You just got to work on having during the week practice and film watching, having these conversations, because that's the only way you be on the right place, because you're going to hit, you got so many options when you're sitting in cover one, cover two, cover one press. You got so many options that you can only do, because it's responsibilities that got to get handed off if you're going to change like that in a live action in a game, because you're going to leave somebody like that. What happened there at a disadvantage when you say, hey, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna stay here and take it. Well, if you take it, then you got to bust it over there to get that guy and try to avoid traffic as you're trying to get to him. So just be mindful. So just knowing that before you make calls, doing that during the week and going over it, getting those mental reps. That's the basic and simple way I would say try to do that, because in game fast time, real time, it's hard to do it.
It seems like, and that one in particular, because they've run that defense before. I mean, like situationally, you've done that in practice. And the fact that when they ran motion, somebody made a switch call and it didn't happen the way it was supposed to. And then you see Savage run underneath the slot to try to get to the tight end. My instincts tell me that he was the one making the mistake. And then you couple, and I might be wrong, but then you couple that with the other situation at the end of the game and some struggles that he's had. And maybe it's, again, like I go Rudy Ford, because maybe it's just time that he, like, you put him in a situation, maybe he starts playing slot nickel. Maybe, you put Rasul, because Stokes is hurt now. Yeah. So maybe Rasul goes out and he plays slot nickel, and you start reducing his package as far as what his responsibilities are. Because safety, like, corners more, hey, I got to, you have coverage and everything, but like safety is a lot more run responsibility. And there's just a lot more going on because you have more of the field. So maybe that helps him and reduce his playbook, so he can really focus on getting good at these certain things. Because it just seems right now that, you feel like he's in quicksand almost.
Yeah, because he's reading things with his eyes different ways, not the proper way, because he got stuck looking at golf. Look at him off, and he wasn't aware of a guy basically crossing his face. And so that right there just tells me he's not tracking well. And we said this last year at the end of the season in the 49ers game. There was a touchdown thrown there where he wasn't tracking properly. He wasn't tracking who he had and reading the quarterback, and kind of get lost in translation when you're multitasking. You can't be multitasking there. You got to have your assignment and stick to it defensively, because defensively, one player is off, then it blows up the whole play.
So the last question we had is, what's going on in the locker room after a loss like that, or after a situation that we're 5 in a row now, I think. Yeah. And then I just thought, well, what's your worst Lions story? What's your worst Lions loss? Like, I know what mine is, but what's yours?
Well, it's probably the same one. It's probably that 2003 season. And when we were there, it was Thanksgiving, and we had the retro jerseys, and we lost to them, because it's just like, it's almost like,
and they were terrible.
Right.
We beat the brakes off them earlier. Yeah.
And we're just sitting there like, but for me, it's all internal. I'm like, how did I? What did I do?
That game, I remember they out physicaled us.
Yeah, I'm like, what did I do? Because I always looked at myself first. You know that. I'm like, what could I have done? Right? Did I'm thinking about plays. Obviously at that time, I'm going back to every play I had a mistake on. If it could have done better. What could I have done better or different? Right there for me. But some guys are external. They're throwing shit. They're yelling, screaming. They're mad. Guys are not talking, to one another at that moment, until we get on the plane. Then guys start, having a good time, basically, because it's like, look, hey, game's over now. We watched it. We're gonna watch film tomorrow. We already know that, and then we got to deal with it one more day, and then we're gonna get ready for the next team, coming in here. So that's, for me, that was my locker room experience after a loss, when it was like, how did we shouldn't have lost it. This was a game that we should have won if we just showed up to play ball properly, but we didn't. We lost. Now let's watch the film and then get ready for the next game after this.
I didn't realize, I didn't think about this when I wrote this question, but easily my worst game of my life was we were up in Lions, and it was where I got benched.
Oh.
I gave up. Tracy Scroggins, this guy is not even a pass rusher. Just I didn't know how to pass it, so I was short sitting this guy in Detroit when I couldn't hear the snap count. But I was terrible.
Right.
I just kept getting beat. And I gave up. I think I gave up 3 sack fumbles in like one half. Not sack fumbles. And they benched me, and like that was the end of my year that year. Really, I got in some scrub time and everything, but like I stopped. That was the last time that was my third year when everything went really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in that situation, so. Like that was my rock bottom. And I think the Packers are kind of at rock bottom right now. And the only thing that I can say is when you hit rock bottom, like you really do have to look in the mirror and make a decision on, okay, what kind of, lack of a better context, like what kind of man do I want to be here?
Exactly.
What kind of human do I want to be? Do I want to make my family proud, or am I just going to go sit and wallow in my misery? Am I point fingers at other people? Am I going to say this is but it's so's fault because they weren't giving me help? Or am I going to like try to, it might take time, but am I going to try to fix my stuff? And I think for the Packers, that's really all you can do right now. Like whether you're a coach, personnel staff, the players in the locker room, like it's so easy right now to say, okay, the wide receivers aren't running the routes the right way. Like Frank Reich just got fired. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like people, like heads are rolling across the league right now. Like
college football everywhere. It's everywhere.
So easy to do that.
Yeah.
And it might be the right thing. Like that. I'm not saying it's the right or wrong thing to do as far as like, should heads start rolling? Should we be making trades? Should people get cut? Should players be getting cut from their starting roles? Should coaches get cut? When you lose this many games, everything's on the table. Yeah. But I think as a collective, no matter what happens, you need to be lack of a better term, you need to be a grown man about it and go,
or be an adult. Be an adult
about it. Yep. That's better. And go, hey, listen, I'm responsible for my part. I'm clearly not doing my job. I need to do my job better. How am I going to do it better so I can help the collective? That's the only way you get out of this situation.
That's it. That's what you got to do.
Last 2 things, but get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
First thing, AG, this goddamn AstroTurf turf, not AstroTurf.
Field turf.
Just took Rashawn Gary. I had the clip up there because he literally just runs, like tries to break.
Yeah.
Like break down, doesn't hit anybody. Non-contact injury.
So non-contact
injury. And you're just like, well, there goes the season of our best defensive player.
Oh man.
I
just heard about it this morning. I was listening, just kind of I was working out, letting the TV run in the background, and that was the one thing that got my attention. Like, oh man, this is a problem.
The NFL already. The NFL talks about player safety, and this is why some of it, like this is why I'm so non-accepting, I think, of some of the stuff that comes out of the media, or cynical about some of this stuff, because with player safety and the tackling, we teach how to tackle with our shoulder now, and then blah blah blah, and helmets are different, and it's like the stadiums still have turf, and then they literally manufacture reports, or they pay for reports that say there's no statistical difference between turf and grass, and it's like, I don't care. First of all, that's not true. Every player who's ever played on either knows it's not true. But even if it was true, the fact that you've moved this to 17 games, and I know we have, some people might say the NFLPA is not had good leadership in this
department, correct?
And now they're going to go to 18 games, and I'm sure D. Smith and those guys will allow it to happen. Honestly, even though they say they won't, I hope they don't. But I honestly, I think they will.
Right?
They know the dollar signs. It's the only negotiation thing they have.
17, so yeah.
But with all the money that's being put in, you're telling me you can't, like the owners can't afford grass? They're choosing not to, and I honestly can't believe that this has, after all of these decades, has not become a mandatory thing where you have to have grass. They can grow grass and move it in. They do it in multiple stadiums across here in Europe all the time. We still are using this crap because they're trying to save a few bucks. It sucks, man.
Yeah, I've seen so many non-contact knees since I played. I mean, it's just like, oh, interesting. But no, as you say that, it boggles my brain. I'm just like, okay, whatever. I see what they're doing here. What's the next one, man?
Okay, so this is fantastic because I don't even know what to think about this. So Frank Reich gets fired to this morning,
That is
and then
crazy.
which is not what. Listen, it's his.
I know they're not having a good season. I know
they're not having a good season, but it's also like, okay, you brought, you had Rivers, and then you brought in Wentz, and you paid a lot of money for Wentz and draft picks,
a lot.
right? And now you're running with this McKellinger, whatever his name is, and it's just not working out for you,
Right?
So there's heads got to roll.
Literally.
Jeff Saturday, ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday is the interim coach. ESPN analyst who is a former Colt. Jeff Saturday's famous, obviously,
a lot of
going
respect.
to the Packers.
A lot of respect, correct.
And getting a Pro Bowl vote when he got benched for Corey Linsley. I mean, but he had a fantastic career. He's a fantastic player, great mind. No problem with it. But oh my God, dude, if you're the Colts organization, if you're a coach or a player, are you going like, wasn't Jeff Saturday just on ESPN? Like he's never coached. He's never coached in his life. This is one of the most bizarre things. And I part of me loves it, but this is one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard. And AG, if I'm a coach there, I just like my whole purpose in life just kind of went out the door, dude. I'm like, wait a second. This guy, because he was a good player here, he gets to be head coach now. I love it.
Right. I mean, you look at it as a coach there, you saying that because usually a guy who becomes an interim is a guy who's the wide receivers coach or the D-line coach or somebody that's already on staff that's been there the whole season. They know the schemes offensively, defensively, and special teams. That's usually the way to go. So as we've seen in sports, not just football, as sports, we've seen some bizarre situations pop up, decisions made that are interesting. That's what I say. Very interesting.
It says he's a consultant for the team. And listen, like, the Colts organization, like, we don't know how they operate.
Right.
But, you think about, so you like, he was a great player for there. I was a good player in Green Bay. You had a great career. You're the Packers all-time leading rusher. I remember there was a time. I remember there was a time with McCarthy that he wasn't allowing ex-players to come back, and like he changed all the locks, right? He wouldn't let ex-players come in the building. And so you think about the contrast with the Green Bay Packers, and I showed you my Carolina Panthers beanie and the swag that I get.
Right.
And then you look at the Colts, and not only they've hired, I don't know if they're paying Jeff Saturday to be a consultant or he's doing it for free, but all this, and now he's going to be the interim head coach. And you and I, you live there. Like, when's the last time you were in the building?
I mean, I do fan experiences, not for coaching.
I'm talking about when's the last time you were in the locker room, like saying hi to the players? Like, it's amazing how
probably like 5 years ago.
It's a different experience now, isn't it, man? Like Green Bay's different. Like, I remember when we were there, when Sherman was there, we see old players all the time. The old side, Fuzzy Thurston, they'd bring him in. Those guys would come in. It was the best in the world.
Bart, we see Fuzzy, Jerry, Dave. I know him by first name. I know Dave. This Dave Robinson. I call him Dave. What's up, Dave? How you doing?
I hope that if God forbid the Packers decide to make a switch, I hope that your phone starts ringing here pretty soon, because based on what the Colts just did, there's no reason that Ahman Green couldn't be the next interim coach of the Green Bay Packers. And you heard it here first.
There you go. Give it to me, baby. We're gonna have some fun in this thing.
It'll be. This is gonna be a week, man. If something doesn't happen at 12:65, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about coaches. If something doesn't change at 12:65 this week, I would be shocked. What about you?
I don't surprises. Like, I like surprises, so I would enjoy it and not be shocked, because I've seen things like this already in football and baseball and basketball. Like, or college football, it's like.
But AG, I'm saying something should. I'm saying
it
should happen, right?
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with you. Something should happen. I'm just saying I'm not going to be surprised because of what I've seen in the last 10 years of sports in the United States. It's like, okay, what else can happen, or what else are a team going to decide to do? And this is a team, as we know, without an owner. This is a committee of people and a team president. So that's then another interesting part on what will or may not happen, coming this week. So just wait and see for me. That's how I roll. I roll with the punches.
No, yeah, certainly. And we're in a position where we can say whatever we want right now. It doesn't matter. But seriously, as somebody, people who, you're still emotionally invested in the team somewhat. You go, this kind of, you see this is like, my mind is blown right now because Jeff Saturday is just an offensive lineman to me. I go,
Right.
Oh my, what in the hell is going on right now that they just gave him the interim head coaching job?
Right. I'm like,
I love it.
I love it.
All right.
Love it, man. That's all I can say. Gotta love it. Hey, thanks for doing this, Mike. Let everybody know where you can find where they can find you with your socials.
Yeah, MikeWall68 on Twitter, Process to Perform on Instagram. Oh, MikeWall68 on TikTok now, which wormhole of death right there.
Oh, I know you breaking down film like crazy on there, right? That's what you're doing. I know you.
No, I haven't. Well, I'm still trying to figure out TikTok. TikTok's a little bit dangerous to me.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know when you figure it out. I'll go check you out there. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ahman Green 30, all one word. I'm on TikTok too with my Gamers Lounge. Ahman Green Gamers Lounge. It's easy. It's not. I don't think it's too scary.
No, it's not that. It's addictive because it's designed to be addictive. So I get on there and then, God forbid, like you put your phone down on TikTok on the wrong thing. And then you got to sit and endure, like pimple cream commercials or something like that for the next 4 days. You know what I mean? Like
the algorithm. The algorithm.
Yeah. Their algos are like it's first of all, that's another discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
It was fun today, AG. We'll pick this up on Thursday.
See you Thursday, man. Have a good rest of your week.